Sometimes the best recipes aren't the most traditional. They're the ones that evolve from the people we love. A little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of curiosity, and a whole lot of trial and error in the kitchen. Hi, welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Amanda, registered dietitian and mom of two, and I love helping families make nutritious meals taste amazing. Today, I want to share with you a recipe that's so dear to my heart, and it's ube steamed rice cake. This recipe came about because I was craving something that just didn't exist. I really wanted to achieve that beautiful honeycomb-like texture from Chinese Bai Tang Gao, which I actually have a recipe for, but without that strong fermented flavor that it can be very off-putting for someone who might not have grown up with that recipe, including my daughter. At the same time, my husband grew up eating Filipino Puto, soft, fluffy, and has more of a cake-like crumb, and my daughter loved it, or loves it. So I was thinking, can I make a recipe that kind of meets in the middle of these two childhood favorites? And after many batches of experimenting in the kitchen, I think I landed on one. And I've also made it ube flavor because, again, my daughter loves anything purple, and specifically the purple puto. But I don't want to use the ube extract because it's just coloring and flavors. So instead, I'm opting to use ube powder, and this product is completely just 100% ube that they've dehydrated and has a beautiful lavender hue and a subtle ube flavor. So let's begin fermenting. In a large bowl, we're gonna be combining rice flour, so that's gonna be the bulk of the cake. In traditional Bai Tang Gao, it's made with just pure rice flour. In this recipe, we're also gonna be adding a little bit of all-purpose flour and wheat starch. And the reason for these two flours is because I want to achieve that cake-like crumb, but I don't want to add too much all-purpose flour, which is why the wheat starch comes in, because I still want to have that beautiful translucency throughout the cake as well that traditional Bai Tang Gao has. And so the wheat starch will still give it that stability and structure for the cake, but again, keeping with that translucency because it is a little bit less than that gluten content, and it also can keep the cake really, really tender. We're also going to be using active instant yeast. Traditional steamed rice cakes for both Chinese and the Filipino cakes, and even Vietnamese, they actually just use natural fermentation, which can take up to 3 to 4 days. So just for the sake of time, we're going to be adding in a tiny bit, just a pinch of active instant yeast so that we can make this cake within 16 hours. So in the large bowl, we're going to actually use a food scale because all these measurements, I'm gonna give it to you in grams, just because this way we wanna make sure it's just very, very accurate, okay? So I'm gonna put the bowl onto the food scale, just tare it, and then we'll measure out the rice flour first. We're gonna start off with 200 grams of rice flour, basically half the bag, okay? I'm gonna add in 200 grams. And we wanna be using Asian rice flour, not the Western style, because the Asian one is more powdery because it's using the wet milled kind of processing. So the rice is kind of soaked before milling, giving a really, really nice powdery consistency. Because this cake, again, is very, very light. So 200 grams of the rice flour. Okay. And this is the one I'm using right now. It's from Thailand. And then we're gonna be using 10 grams of all-purpose flour. So again, not a lot, but just enough to give it, again, that crumb-like texture. So 10 grams. Okay, there we go. 10 grams. This is just organic all-purpose wheat flour, and then the wheat starch. The wheat starch, this is the brand that I oftentimes will see in the Asian markets, this product of Hong Kong. But that's how it looks like. Very, again, powdery, similar to the rice flour consistency actually. And we're gonna need about 20 grams of this. More accuracy using the food scale. Okay, there we go, exactly 20 grams. And then next we're gonna add in the ube powder. This is the brand Ube Bay. It's a product of the Philippines and it's just pure ube, again, dehydrated. And we're gonna need 10 grams of the ube powder. Too much, and then the cake will be too dense. So we just wanna add 10 grams. So it gives you that subtle flavor and this beautiful hue without any artificial coloring or flavoring. Okay, that's 10 grams. And then next we're gonna add a pinch of salt to bring all the flavors together. Okay. And then the active instant yeast. We need a 1/4 teaspoon. So not a lot actually, because we're gonna be letting this batter ferment for about anywhere between 12 and 16 hours. So just enough to create, again, that honeycomb-like texture and bounce, but not enough to give it a really strong fermented taste, which is what I want to avoid. So I'm going to give this all a stir. So again, in here we have the rice flour, all-purpose wheat starch, ube powder, salt, and the yeast. I'm going to mix this all together. And then we're going to add in about 300 grams of water. Okay. And the water, just room temperature is fine. My kettle actually have like a baby bottle setting. That temperature is actually perfect. So not really hot, but just very, very, again, little bit higher, like the temperature is a little bit higher than just room temp, but not enough to burn you, if that makes sense, right? So that if you have a baby bottle setting on your kettle, this is just as willing, I would recommend that one, okay? So about 300 grams of liquid, or water, I should say. Okay, perfect. And then just mix this all together. And then we're gonna let this ferment for, again, I'm gonna say, let's give it at least 12 hours, if not more. I'm gonna steam it tomorrow morning. So let's kind of let it sit overnight. And then once it's done fermenting overnight, we're actually gonna add in coconut milk as well as a little bit of baking powder just for that extra bit of leavening and to create a more light and fluffy cake. So right now you can stir this with vigor, but once it's done fermenting, we're just gonna use a spatula to fold everything in, like the coconut milk and baking powder, because I don't want to destroy those beautiful air bubbles that would have been created through the fermentation process. Okay, so just give this a really good stir so there's no clumps at all. All right. That looks really, really good. Again, beautiful color. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna take this just cheesecloth, just a cotton, cloth like this. I'm gonna cover it. You don't want to use plastic wrap because you do want to have some natural airflow. So that's why I'm just gonna put this on top, and we're actually gonna be using this afterwards. When we steam the cake, we're gonna be just like the Bai Tang Gao. We're gonna wrap our lid with this cotton cloth, and this way any of the evaporation and the kind of condensation, the cloth will soak up so we don't end up with a wet top for the cake. Like a wet and soggy is not nice. So I just take an elastic band to kind of wrap my bowler with it. Okay, and then we're gonna leave this at room temp overnight. Oh, my elastic just came off. So we're gonna, again, so let's redo this. Put it around, and we'll let this, again, just sit covered like this for, let's check it in 12 hours. And then we'll add in, again, the coconut milk as well as the baking powder, and then we'll steam it. Good morning, friends. It's about 6:42 right now in the morning. So the batter's been fermenting for about 16 hours now, because I made it yesterday afternoon. I was gonna check at the 12-hour mark, but I was sleeping. So let's go ahead and remove the cotton cloth, and you'll see over here a little bit of fermentation. I'll kind of bring my camera closer. Here is what it looks like right now. It looks like there's like a thick coating right here. I'm gonna just gently stir it. Everything's underneath. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna be very, very carefully adding in a little bit of baking powder as well as coconut milk. We're gonna need about 80 milliliters of coconut milk. And the coconut milk is gonna add a really, really nice richness, but also take away from some of that fermented taste that you'll definitely still taste a little bit of. Oh, a little bit of that cream stuck in there. Stir it really well. Come on, coconut milk. It's like stuck. It's a huge chunk of cream. It was also in the fridge, so that doesn't help, but I had let it warm up a little bit just so. There we go. Just pour 80 milliliters of coconut milk into the batter. And then we're gonna add in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Just for that extra leavening. It's half, one more. Okay, so now, very carefully, we're gonna stir this in. I don't wanna use my whisk right now because if I use my whisk, it might just break apart all the air bubbles that we've created in that 16-hour fermentation. Kind of just gently mix everything together. And you may have noticed the hue of it kind of changed overnight. And the reason being is that during fermentation, the pH level actually changes in the batter. And so the anthocyanins in the ube, which is the beautiful purple hue, they're actually affected by pH. So the first time, one of the second times I made this as a trial and error, my cake actually turned up blue because I added way too much baking powder. And now I think because we let it ferment for 16 hours, it is a little bit more on the acidic side, but it's okay. Just very carefully, just mix until it's just incorporated. Okay. And then we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes now. So I'm just gonna scrape it from the bottom as well. And while this batter is sitting, we're gonna go ahead and prepare everything else. So this is the cake pan I'm using. It's about 8 inches. I'm gonna spread a little bit of coconut oil on it. You can use avocado oil, just something a little bit neutral. Or the reason why I'm using coconut is because we added coconut milk, so I just want to accentuate the flavor even more. So spread it all around, so that's where the cake won't stick. You wanna have every bit of goodness. There we go. Some of the milk that's spilled. Okay. Next, we are going to also prepare a steamer and also our lid. So remember we had that cotton cloth? We're actually gonna use it again to wrap the lid up, like so. And this way, when the cake bakes, and condensation will occur, it won't drip back onto our beautiful cake, causing like a wet, soggy middle and just a really wet appearance, so it's not very pleasant. So that's a trick. If you have a bamboo steamer, you can also use that. That's very traditional, but we're just gonna use that today. And then once the batter has sat for about 10 minutes, we're gonna pour it into this cake pan. And then I also have my big pot. This is my steamer basket. All I have is a steamer rack like so that the cake pan's gonna sit on top of. And make sure the water, there's at least a tiny bit of space between the water and the cake pan. You don't want the water boiling directly underneath, like touching the cake pan, that's what I meant. Okay, so we'll start this up. Okay, it's been 10 minutes, so now we're gonna pour this batter. So I'm gonna give one more stir all around just to make sure everything is incorporated. And then we're gonna pour this into our greased cake pan. And I can hear the water boiling now, so we're gonna carefully place this directly into our steamer. So there it is. And then we're just gonna close the lid and let it steam for 25 minutes. All right, moment of truth. We're taking it out of the steamer. Ooh. Piping hot. And you'll see, it's okay if there's a little bit of blue hue. It's just the anthocyanins, you can see here. As it sits, you'll find the colors kind of like all the different hues of purple and blue will come together into this beautiful final color. So we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes before we slice into it.
A few minutes later.
All right, Using a sharp knife, you're just gonna go around the edges. Because we grease it, honestly, you don't really need to, so you know, let's just go ahead and slice it and I'll show you the inside of the cake. This cake is definitely best eaten the day of. If you store it for the next day, make sure you just wrap it up really tightly, and then the next morning, steam it before eating. Don't air fry it or toast it, because then you'll just get really dry on the outside and the inside, so just make sure you do steam it. If you have a microwave, you can wet a paper towel and kind of cover it. That also works too. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, I do not recommend this. It's so hot, but oh, look at that beautiful honeycomb. Okay, before my fingers break. Ooh la la. Okay. Ooh, and it's so good. The touch of grass-fed butter. Try it out, you guys. And there you have it, friends, a simple ube steamed cake from my family to yours. I really hope you enjoy this recipe as much as we do. And remember, sometimes the most favorite recipes in your household are not the most traditional. And I hope you enjoy this ube steamed cake, which is, again, a marry between the Filipino Puto and the Chinese Bai Tang Gao. Until next time, relish every bite.